Good afternoon. Good morning for those of you on the West Coast. We'll give it a little bit to let attendees trickle in here. Thank you everybody for joining, and just hang tight for another 30 seconds or so. All right. Well, thank you everybody again for joining us this afternoon. Continuing along with us in this FAQ series where we've broken down our process into about 6 steps, convenient bite-sized pieces for everybody out there. So without taking too much time dwelling on that, we'll jump into today's topic, Aeroseal's auditing process. This is one of those that gets a lot of feedback, a lot of questions, a lot of interest. This is essentially our validation mechanism for what goes into the energy models and what comes back for ROI purposes. So very interesting topic. We're joined today by our very own auditing team, which we'll get to here in a little bit. But today's agenda, just a couple housekeeping items. The presentation is being recorded for everybody on the line. A recording will come out about a couple hours after the presentation has come out and everything and gone through its rendering. From there, we will also have a survey at the end just to let us know how we're doing, how we can improve on our topics and our content for you for future related aspects of commercial projects. And then today's agenda will revolve around what is an Aeroseal audit, what does it look like, what the project auditor is looking for with some examples, some pictures, and some highlights that we've captured. This FastField mobile application that we use to collect all the data and provide you with basically a detailed audit at the end so you can get that investment grade audit. And we'll follow up with some Q&A, and then we'll get into some exciting stuff around what this future innovation looks like here at the auditing team. So Justin Jacques is our presenter today. He's on the commercial field audit team, and I will pass it over.
Hey, so I've been with Aeroseal for about 4.5 years now. About 5 months ago, they opened up this auditing position, and I was glad to take it. Before that, I was with the direct commercial crew on actual duct sealing jobs. So. Okay, so what is a commercial audit? So it starts with the takeoff, which we get mechanical plans from the ESCO or the facility. We review the plans to identify the air handling units and rooftop units that qualify for the Aeroseal process. And then it's passed on to myself and Matt Madera, which is the other auditor. We will travel to the site. We'll do a visual inspection of the identified air handlers and rooftop units, and we'll inspect at least 20% of the accessible ductwork. And then we'll use FastField mobile app to log all the important information and pictures, and that kind of determines the leakage per rooftop or air handling unit. And then we will create a formal audit report for the sales team to give off to the customer. And then here's the mechanical plans. This is kind of what we go off. We look, see how big the larger air handlers, there's a lot more air going through them. So we want to look at those. They have a lot more static pressure, a lot more CFM. So these are some things that we look at before we go to the site to determine good air handlers, good rooftop units, and what kind of system it is. Is it, constant volume system? Is it a VAV system? And that's what we use those for. And then what is an auditor looking for? So when we're doing our visual inspection, we look at the air handling unit, And then we'll follow the duct runs. So we'll go through the main, we'll see, we'll go down the duct run and we'll see access wise, is it going to be hard to get to any spots for any of our blocking? And then we'll look at the diffuser type to see if linear diffusers, if they're regular 2x2 diffusers. And then we look at the insulation to see if it's inflated or not. That's a good sign that there's leakage in that duct run, because all the air is kind of trapped in there, just ballooning out the insulation. And then we also look to see if it's internally lined ductwork. And then is the ductwork exposed in the conditioned space? And then we inspect the ductwork for dirt as well for duct cleaning. And then we also will get static pressure, multiple static pressure readings off each air handler. And FastField, we put all that in our FastField app. So these are some things that we carry in our auditing bag. We have a manometer there on the left, which takes the static pressure reading, impact drill for creating the hole, flashlight for, looking above the ceiling and whatnot, some plugs there for holes that we've made. Sometimes we'll measure the duct if it's really, really large duct and the prints weren't really good and we don't have that information, so we can gather that information. And then we have some tape there from insulation that we tear back at corners and joints and whatnot. So here's some examples of a really leaky duct, actually. So there on the left, you can see on the first picture, the joint there is not duct sealed whatsoever. So there's gaps at each corner, which is leaking quite a bit. And then the center photo, you can see another leaky turn that has no duct seal, and it's also really dirty. That's from all the air pushing the dirt out, and that creates a dust trail. And then we have a photo of dirty duct. That would be a good example that would need duct cleaning. And here's a couple more. So the first one, some round duct that's tapped off the main branch. The circle there is that should be duct sealed very, very well, and it's obviously not. There's leakage all the way around that. You can see from the dust trails. Then the next photo is, you can see that insulation is inflated. It's just kind of pressing out from the pins that hold the insulation onto the ductwork itself. So that's a good example of inflated ductwork. And then another connection that has no duct seal coming right off of the unit, right above the canvas. Lots of leakage there. And then one of the static pressures that we take off the air handling unit. What gets logged on the FastField? So we pretty much put everything on this FastField app. The address, the building type, photos of the building, photos inside of the building, what kind of ceiling type is it, what the access is like, do we have to go upstairs, will the guys have to carry equipment everywhere, is there a ladder or elevator available for mobilizing our equipment. And then the subform is each of the air handler units that gets inspected. So we look, and we get most of this information before we get on site. So we'll know if it's a VAV system, but we will identify while we're there that everything aligns. And then we look at the construction type. So the main run, how is it connected? Is it TDC? Is the duct welded? And then we also look for the duct cleaning. We'll take a peek inside the duct and see how dirty it is, get some photos, and then what type of diffusers, and then how well the duct is sealed. Does it have any duct seal on it at all? Does it have 50%? Does it have 70%? And this is some screenshots from our actual FastField app, just kind of breaking down, giving you an idea of how everything's put in. So if it's through an ESCO, we'll use the ESCO, and then the parking details. If this is a site in Manhattan, we need to put things like that in there. It's pretty tough to get around there with the truck and trailer, so these guys need to know that beforehand. And the building type, and is there balance dampers? Is there access doors in the duct? Is the duct inflated? So that's our FastField app. And then so FastField calculates in those subforms, it calculates the percentage of leakage per slide that we pick. So if we say it's inflated ductwork, it could be 10 points, which could contribute 2% of the total leakage for that air handler. And there's some main ones like the how well is it sealed? If there's no duct seal at all on any of this ductwork, it's going to get a lot of points and a lot of leakage, because it's without the right amount of duct seal put on these joints, it's going to leak no matter what. I mean, I've seen it with a shiesty job of duct seal put on, and it's leaking as much as no duct seal being on there. Okay, and then after we get back from the audit and we have our FastField app all updated with everything from that site, we start on a formal audit report. So these are some pages out of our formal audit report, and we have our energy cost and payback on one of those pages. We have the building photo, the location. We have some photos of the ceiling type, the diffuser type, and then we also will show the leakage that was found on site.
All right. Thank you, Dustin. I know there was a lot more we could have included there, but for the sake of time. So as a reminder, everybody, at this point, we can take some questions. Use the question box that's over there to put the questions in, and I will start reading off a couple of these to you, Justin.
Okay.
So about how long does an audit take?
So it depends on the building size. Let's say a high school. We've audited a lot of high schools these past 6 months or so. A lot of schools in general. The high schools, which are a lot bigger, those usually take about 2 to 3 hours, depending on how many air handlers there's there. So if they have 10 air handlers, that would take about 3 hours, because we want to go to the mechanical room of each air handler and kind of get our static pressure reading. If there's a VFD, we want to see what speed it's looking at. Then we want to follow that duct run and identify what kind of systems are in that building. If they're all the same, if they're all VAV, or if one's constant volume, one's VAV. So that it doesn't. Yeah, about 3 hours.
Okay. Who should be on site with Aeroseal for the audit?
So typically, if the ESCO is involved, there will always be a guy from Ameresco walking site with us, because he's the one that contacted us. And then we'll typically have a facilities manager, preferably the HVAC facilities guy, will walk with us, and we can kind of pick his brain and ask him, hey, is there any warmer spots in this building? Is the west wing warmer than the east wing? And then we can go to that west wing and try to see what's going on there and see if there is leakage there.
Okay. Does anything need to be shut down for the audit?
No, nothing needs to be shut down. We need it to be running. If it's not running, then you really can't identify the leakage. You can identify the gaps and holes and whatnot, but you don't get the true potential of leakage unless it's running.
Is the audit free?
Yes, the audit is free. The last time I heard, yeah, it's completely free.
And is it considered investment grade?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Is the FastField app proprietary to Aeroseal?
Yes. Yes, it is.
How long after an audit is done is it still considered credible? I'm guessing in regards to like if somebody made a decision to get the audit done and then they waited to have their project completed for, I don't know, 6, 12 months, whatever the runtime is.
However long it takes for, the customer to give us the go ahead.
I think that brings us to the end of those questions. Feel free to type in additional ones and to try not to hang out too long on this one while we wait. We'll get into some exciting news around what's next for Aeroseal as it relates to our audit process. So, Dustin, some pretty exciting stuff here.
So what's next for Aeroseal auditing? This, John Harrington, Mark Madera, Matt Madera, and myself have been working on this for quite some time now. This is our CO2 tracer gas leakage testing system, and this is going to improve the way we measure the leakage in the ductwork, and more in the near future on this.
Yeah, I've heard really great things about.
Yeah, this is. It's really good. It's a process getting it going, getting all the right pieces and putting it all together. So we're really close. We're 90% done. So the next step is to take it to a site and test it out and make sure everything's going well, and the rest will be history.
Yeah. Exciting stuff. So with that, unless there's additional questions that come in, the next series of this will be October 5th at 12:30. We're going to be introducing the commercial team that Dustin just left a few months back. So we'll be bringing them on set to talk through day of operations, what it looks like in the day of a commercial tech, the sealing process, their obstacles and hurdles and challenges that they have to overcome with some of these federal GSA, even just schools and private settings as well. So be sure to join and stay tuned as that comes along. If you have any questions that stem after this, feel free to reach out to info@Aeroseal or April Frakes, Travis Boylan if you're already working with them, or respond back and we can get you in touch with any of those individuals. We also have the free quote form on our website. And yeah, just be sure if you guys have any project needs and want a free estimate, a free audit, we're here to support you. So stay tuned. And Dustin, do you have any additional thoughts or any input that you want to get out there?
No, thank you. Thank you for letting me do this.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us and taking some time out of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Okay, bye.